For those of you at home, not in the audience, you can keep talking. We're also live streaming. For those of you at home, we're just getting set up here and whatnot. We'll be starting shortly. So please hang on. Keep your eye on the screen, and we'll be with you in just a few moments.
Okay, is that working okay? All right, welcome to Meet Your Next Mentor Night. We have some old favorites and a few new people, so I'm excited about that. And what I'd want to do is just very briefly, starting tonight, 9 o'clock, you can sign up. menteecps@gmail.com. You have to request your mentor by email. The cutoff is Monday night, the 27th, so that's next Monday, again at 9 p.m. Your one paper that you got with the FAQ there, that has that information on it. There is information you need to include that is listed there, things like your name, and more important, what I want to stress, it doesn't matter what you take pictures of. If that mentor is not available when you are, in other words, if your mentor that you would like to have is available weekday mornings and you work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, it doesn't work. So pick somebody else, please. You'll learn regardless of what that person has you pointing a camera at, I promise you. So that, number one, that is the most important aspect. Don't pick a mentor that you could never meet up with, because basically you'll be taking the place of someone else that could meet on a weekday morning or whatever that schedule is. So that's it. Starting 9 o'clock, email and request people. You can request 3 mentors in order of preference. Thank you, and we'll start with Chris Bosworth once again. He's always the first.
Why is there applause? I don't understand that. So I need to emphasize what Bev just said, because we actually, myself included, have had mentors that are really questioning whether they want to do this anymore, because we've all had the experience where mentees didn't show. So the 2 most important things I think there are about the mentoring program is, number 1, your availability. Number 2, what kind of mentor are you looking for? Do you want somebody who's going to be really advanced, or somebody more like me who's going to be beginners? So my experience, I just love this program because we're photographers helping photographers. And because I help out a lot at the fundamentals school, I see a lot of people who get to the end of the class and just feel like they didn't quite get a handle on everything, or they want some more shooting experiences. So that's me. I want to take you from a beginner to something more like an intermediate. You'll see from my pictures here that I don't have any particular genre. We'll be meeting mostly in the metro parks, and you don't need any special equipment. If you only have one lens, that's fine. If you have your kit lens, Last time we were able to do a night shoot, so we will try to work a night shoot in this time. And if we do that, you're gonna need a tripod anyway, because this shot that you saw, you're gonna need a tripod for something like that, and a cable release if you have one. So when am I mentoring? I'm really specific this time. Because fundamentals is starting soon, running on Saturdays, I'm not gonna be available until June. I'm going to do 4 sessions on Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 in June. We may squeeze a couple other ones in there. Like I said, we may do a night shoot. But those are the times. So I won't be doing anything until June, and then we'll be doing 4 Saturdays in June, maybe a little more, depending on how our schedules work out. Most of our shooting we'll do in the metro parks. It'll be rain or shine because there are pavilions in the metro parks. We can still, if we have to, get undercover and do shooting from there. Haven't had that happen too much. This actually we did at one of our night shots. So I shoot Sony, Canon, Fuji. I've helped with Nikon, so your camera is not, brand is not a particular limitation. As you saw on the opening slide, I live in North Olmsted, so we'll be doing things mostly west side. And I think that's all I've got. One more. Got Dan come up. Are we going to ask questions in here or no?
We'll ask questions at the end.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if Dan is here now.
Yes, is he?
I didn't see him.
Dan Lester? He's not here. Well, I think we can,
Do you want me to forward through his slides? Or?
well, let's just do Dan Lester. He lives in Broadview Heights. Dan is one of our mentors that is here for us every time. He does, as you'll see from his pictures, if you'll forward through them, Chris, thank you. He does a little bit of everything. So again, especially for beginners, and I believe that is who he is looking to work with. He's a really good guy to work with because he, A, has a lot of patience, and B, he does a little bit of everything. You can see he does some macro, like on that dandelion, he converted it to black and white. Go ahead, his orchid is beautiful. He does some portrait and group shots. He does landscapes. And again, a landscape. I think he told me one time that particular shot was in Hawaii, but I don't like run to the bank with that. But I'm pretty sure that's what he said. Yeah, if you get mentor with Dan, he'll take you on the plane in his luggage. Okay? Is there one more? Yeah, I thought there was a really close-up macro. So you can see he does really nice work, and I know he is a Sony guy, but I know he is not a snob, and I believe he does ask you to have a tripod. Okay. Next up will be, his creepy guy. So you will learn how to take beautiful pictures of creepy people. Is that what that is, the Broadview Haunted House? I've seen many pictures of that, Barbara Cerrito, and anyway, so evidently Dan's been there too. So next up, Deb Zimmerman, Kathy Golobic, Parma and Broadview Heights. Please note that they will be co-mentoring as a team. Come on up, ladies.
Got it. That master's really fit up. All right, Kathy and I are doing still life with a little bit of macro. And I am an Olympus shooter, former Nikon. And Kathy is a former Canon and a Sony shooter. We will be working here, my house, or might be doing some field trips. We will be doing Tuesday evenings Friday afternoons, and we might throw in occasional Saturdays. And we will be working April through August, probably meet 6 or 7 times. We will take a little bit of a break in June. I have a granddaughter being born at the end of May, and we have some vacations, as well as probably some of you guys do, being summertime. We'll be going over composition, subject and materials, lighting, camera angle, focus, depth of field, motion, and then we'll be doing a review of all of that as it pertains to still life and macro. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. I think Deb said it all. Does anybody have any questions?
Probably about 2 to 4.
From about 2 to 4, depending on the day. On Fridays, we're both not working full time, so we're more day people. So
And probably like 6 to 8 on Tuesdays.
yeah. So you don't necessarily need a macro lens. For some things, we use macro lenses, but there's also ways to get around it with extension tubes and that kind of stuff. And I have some of that for Canon, for sure. And I have a macro lens that will fit a Canon, I think any Canon. And I also have an adapter for Sony.
And I have for Nikon.
And Deb's got it for Nikon, and we'll let you borrow it if we're doing it. We don't usually shoot when you guys are shooting. We usually are more hands-on instructing.
And I also have for Nikon and
Oh, and what's your other? Olympus and Nikon.
Nikon and Sony.
Oh, Nikon and Sony, whatever. Yeah, so we'll share the wealth. Any other questions? Okay, great.
If you have a tripod, that's good. If you have a remote release, good.
That's
If
great.
not, we can do like a 2-second timer on your camera.
Right, we did that a lot the last mentoring session.
Still life, you can use kit lens. A 50 millimeter is also very good. So
We'll work with you. We have all kinds of, we have other lenses that we can help you use too, so. Okay. Thank you.
Another of our repeat offenders here, Brian O'Riordan.
Yes, I'm about as offended or offensive as you can get. I've been doing this for a number of years. I take a slightly different approach than most of the other people that you're going to see tonight. My accent is on a one-on-one type of basis, where we talk about some rather basic things about photography. On the handout that we had before, the things that I listed are communication, composition, and creativity. The whole idea behind my approach to this is to improve your ability to communicate to other people what it is that you want in your photos. So I spend a lot of time, I'm not camera specific, I shoot Nikon, but if there's things that you want to work on with your camera, we'll figure out a way to do it. But mainly what I'm going to be thinking about is your individual photos. Now, I shoot just about everything. This is the travel part of it. If you look at this thing, you might see something in there that just strikes you as being strange. Any of you that have traveled, you might notice that, oh, okay, well, then maybe that's in Italy. It is. But what's wrong about it? Aha. There's no wires, no signs, no antennas, no cars, no bicycles, nothing else. I took that all out. But the reason was I wanted to see what other people had seen in this particular area. It's in Cortona. I also shoot animals, wildlife type of thing. My favorite turtle. He shows up at the Black Sand Beach in Hawaii. The thing that's kind of unusual about this guy is he had to climb onto this rock. He really had to work to get up there. Almost every other turtle picture I have, they're always on the sand. Well, we're not getting the borders of this, but the idea here was simply to take a picture that is of something other than the flower in the center, and it's framed by the blueberries and a little bit different. It's my people picture. I really like this because there are a whole bunch of stories in this. This is in Norway. That's a Viking. Or it might be, I don't know. He's got on his hand, he's got, I think vibe is what is tattooed on his knuckles. Interesting fellow. It was obviously a windy day, so I got Albert Einstein in this too. But here's this Viking, and he's decked out. New watch, I mean, nice sunglasses, everything else, nice tuxedo. Go on forever with this. Okay, I also do stuff that is a little bit different. For part of my job, I used to go to a riot every year. And these were practice riots held at a penitentiary, and they went through all the nasty business. And if you want to try to capture that, sometimes you might want to go about it just a little bit more abstract way than normal. And then the last one, if you really like to play around with Photoshop and so forth, you take a photo that is Indigo Lake. It's perfectly, looks like Indigo Lake, but you add a little bit of texture to it, a little bit of kind of effect, and you get something that's more, I hate to use the word, painterly. Okay, I'm very flexible in terms of my hours. I'm retired. My schedule will try to fit with yours. There's going to be a few times that I'll try to get all the mentees together and go out on a trip, but the chances of that happening are usually pretty slim. So most of the time will be I'll give homework. I'll say, I want you to go out and shoot this, this, and this. If you don't want to do it, fine, tell me. And I'll say, thank you. No, actually, we'll find out a way to get the information that I want to get and give me the chance to convey to you what I think would be helpful to you. I think that's it. Any other questions? Okay. We don't do a lot of Photoshop work. I talk more about, I might tell you what's available in Photoshop. I'm not going to spend a lot of time showing you how to do Photoshop. It's what the courses are for. Yeah.
Okay, Andrew. Oh, there you are. Andrew Richardson is second or third time Mentee, and he lives way down in Jackson Township.
Way down. It's not, I always find it humorous that people from Cleveland think that like Akron and Canton is the other side of the universe, but you'll go from west side to east side for a further distance and it's no big deal. But I do live down in Jackson near Massillon. I'm originally from Greene, which is just a little bit south of Akron. And I do hope to have a lot of my outings over a decent sized geographic area, probably from the Cuyahoga Valley National Park down through a lot in Akron and Summit County, through Stark County, Wayne County, and the surrounding areas, and maybe even a couple of trips to Columbus or Toledo or something else to do some night photography. I do shoot a number of things. This time I really want to concentrate on sports and action photography, along with night photography, not so much light painting, which I've done before, and macro and still life type things. I do shoot primarily Canon, but I do use Olympus for their live comp, but any camera is fine. It does not matter really what brand you have. So with sports, I do shoot for my alma mater for high school. I shoot their typical sports. I shoot football, basketball, baseball, softball, track, lacrosse. If you're interested in seeing some of those examples, you can look at my Facebook page. Easy way to find me is Andrew Richardson, but the only identifying information I have there is from Greene, Ohio, so that's how you know it's me. And my little icon is a light painting type thing. But for this mentor session, we probably won't be doing high school sports because I can't get you the access that I have, and most of those sports will be ending soon. But there's plenty of action and things that don't have to do just with sports. So this is vintage baseball, and vintage baseball is played by 1860s rules. So you'll notice that he's in the outfield and he has no glove. So they do not wear gloves when they're playing. And I will tell you, the ball, although it's a tiny bit softer than a hard ball, it is not that much softer. And I have a couple of fingers that I nearly broke a couple of times that I played just from that. But what I love about this is that they wear the vintage uniforms. You can get really close. And I know several of the teams, I know players on those teams, so that would be an outing that we can do. Water skiing is another thing that is ongoing in Summit County during the summer at Chippewa Lake. They actually ski in Norton, and this happens to be in Barberton at the Mum Fest. But skiing is another thing that allows you to practice action and to capture that. So any vehicle that moves and moves quickly, you can do creative things with it. This is panning. And so the great race came through Medina last summer, and it was a great opportunity for us to go and to get some pictures and practice our panning, which gives it a real sense of movement as things are going. So this is just one example of the night photography. This is in Columbus. I thought I would choose something different than Cleveland because so many people have the Cleveland pictures, but obviously we would plan to do a night outing in Cleveland and hit some various spots to do that as well. But Columbus is a beautiful place with the river. You can get lots of different angles with reflection there as well. I like to do macro in nature as well with insects. This one, I just kind of got lucky, I guess, the day that they were in their little ritual, I guess you could say. And then I like to do still life too as well. But I encourage you to visit my Facebook page. I tried to post in the last couple of days an awful lot of images so that you could see more about my style. There is some light painting on there too if you want to see that. And if members are interested, I might do maybe one session of light painting so that you can see what that's about. But it's kind of hard to do with a mentor group. I'm available primarily weekends and evenings, but once you get into May, I do have a little bit more flexibility to take some vacation days. I do work at the University of Akron, and once the semester's over, that's when I'm able to take some vacation. So there are some days that I could definitely take there if the group is interested. I hope to start in April or May. It kind of depends on if anyone's interested, when they want to start. The vintage baseball will start in April, so there's some opportunities for that. There's some other things too. Rodeos happen this summer. Hopefully we can have an outing at a rodeo. Those are a lot of fun to shoot for action. So probably start April or May, continue through most of the summer, June and July at least, because that's the time that I have most available. I hope to have some beginners or true novices. I don't really want too many people that are maybe an expert themselves or advanced, because I'm kind of more in that maybe that intermediate level type thing. But I would really like to help some people if they're just getting out of fundamentals, they want to apply the things that they've learned. I'd be happy to help you learn the various things that I shoot. And I know sometimes when people hear that I'm Stark County, they think, oh, that's too far away. But I do encourage you to keep an open mind, especially because new locations provide new opportunities and will give you new places to shoot that you've maybe never been before. And all of the shooting is not going to be down there. As I said, some will be in the National Park in downtown Cleveland, but quite a bit will be down getting you into new areas as well. Any questions?
Okay. Gary Wood, are you here? Is Gary here? Oh, okay. They're still in Florida. I almost forgot. Jeez. Duh. You can tell I was up late last night. Okay, Gary does birds, and primarily he does fantastic birds in flight. His pictures are handheld, and that's what he would be, I think, looking to teach is hand-holding and getting those birds in flight. So there's very specific settings, and I'll talk a little bit about that later when I present my stuff. But he's excellent. He is a really nice guy, and I would encourage you to go with him. He lives on the west side of Cleveland in that West Park neighborhood, right near Terry, right? And I mean, as you can see, his photography is just gorgeous. And the one thing he does ask is that you will need a zoom lens of some kind. He didn't say it has to be, 850 millimeters worth, but something that you can zoom in and actually have a chance of catching that bird up in the sky. So that's it. So please remember Gary. You will not regret it. You can see from his photography. Thank you. And Natalie, yes. They're not back until the second or third week of April. Okay? He's pretty much very, very available. He's retired, so. Okay? Natalie is a new mentee, or a mentor, and she does some gorgeous landscapes. Made me want to go to White Sands, I can tell you, when I got her pictures.
Hi everyone. So this is my first time of doing this. I was with the club for 3 or 4 years now. I think I had 2 mentors myself here, so I'm thinking now I can return the favor. I learned quite a few things for these 4 years, and I took a fundamental class and Photoshop class here. I really liked it. I returned a couple of times just to the lectures that I had, and I'm constantly learning and taking other classes. Okay, so I'm mostly a landscape photographer. I am fortunate enough to travel a lot. I just came back from Dubai, still have some henna painting. This is Blue Ridge Highway, if you know, in South Carolina.
Yeah, it's in Virginia, I think.
No, it's in Carolina, I think.
Maybe part
Right.
of it is. Yeah.
Maybe. Oops. So this one from Canada, there is about 6 hours drive north from the Canadian border. There is a really nice place, Bruce Peninsula, I think the name of it. This is Main Coast Lighthouses. I was there last fall. And I also like to do macro, mostly flowers. And this is White Sands. Okay. Oops. Sorry. I shoot Nikon D850, but everybody has internet, so there is no really any issue in figuring out whatever setting needs to be for any specific camera. So I don't think it's a problem. I use wide angle and macro. These are 2 of my favorite lenses. Recently, I discovered Lens Baby. If some of you know, it became my favorite very quickly. I don't have any pictures of the, but it can produce really beautiful macro mushrooms. I have some flowers, close-ups. I'm interested in ICM, intentional camera movement, and I'm practicing it. I don't have any pictures of that too. So stuff like that. I'm available most of the weekdays. Actually, I'm not working, so I'm pretty much flexible. Weekends, I can do evening sunrises and sunset around Cleveland area. I live in Solon. I can travel. And I'm intending to I'm thinking about going to metro parks, Erie, seashore area, maybe sunsets there.
Thank you. Does that make you
Thank
want to
you.
go there?
It's a White Sands National Monument. In New Mexico, yes.
Hand it off to the next one, who is Coleman. Coleman Rosenberg. Is he here? Oh, okay. So Coleman is, I think, a very interesting photographer, of which we have several. But he does some really different stuff, and he does a lot of industrial landscapes. If you see his stuff on Facebook, he does a lot of things. I don't know how to describe it other than people at work. He just goes places and takes pictures of people at their workplace. And it's really interesting to see because it kind of gives you a little bit of a piece of a world that most of us don't see because we didn't work there. You know, my last job was at a bank, so, you know, it wasn't that interesting. But as you can see, there's some different takes on bridges and buildings and everything else. So there you've got the Guardians and beautiful light on, I don't know if that's the Headlands. Is that the Headlands lighthouse? I'm not sure. It's not one I'm overly familiar with. And he even does color. So, but he's had an interesting second career as a photographer. He's worked for a lot of magazines and ESPN TV. He's worked for the U.S. Olympic Committee, and he said too many others to list. So those are kind of impressive, as is his photography. So if you're looking for something maybe a little bit different than just a standard landscape or, you know, me taking a picture of a bird, there you go. Here's an excellent option. And he lives in Mentee. Okay. Next up is Chris Irwin. Now, Chris is the guy that I forgot his pictures last year. And this time I forgot to put him on this list, but I had his pictures in there with his name spelled wrong. So here you go. Chris is, yes. Oh, very open. I'm sorry. It'll be in the, tomorrow there will be on the website, along with this broadcast, there will be two things. There will be the instructions that you were handed tonight, how to sign up, and also profiles with pictures from each mentor. So all that information will be available to you later tonight or tomorrow. Okay, go ahead.
Thanks. I'm Chris. I am mostly, I would say, a landscape photographer. I just like to go places and take pictures, and this is a way for me to get out of the house. We'll meet pretty much once a week on Sunday mornings, and then I'll go through your photos. We'll review them and critique them and stuff basically every Thursday night. I pretty much, we took this one last time we were out in the fall. I'll pretty much do it most weeks from May on, unless people can't meet or they have vacations. I'll work with you a lot on editing and I do a lot of stuff with HSL sliders and color and stuff. But it's mostly going to be a lot of landscape stuff. I probably prefer people that are outside of the beginner window. I have some patience, but admittedly not as much as I wish I did. So the early stuff is not so much for me. And I know Kim can give me some reviews if you have questions about whether or not I'm good at this. She's a good cheerleader, but I think that's it. Oh, I do some street stuff, but not a ton. A lot of the stuff I shoot is on film, but I ended up getting a digital just for this, so I could make my life a little bit easier than developing every single week. But yeah, that's it. Any questions? Cool.
John Soraya, am I saying that right? Oh, good. I'm known for murdering things. He's from Medina, and he does a lot of beautiful portrait work. This was a very late incoming. I got this wonderful email yesterday. You need some more? I said, sure, just get it to me tonight. And he did. So here you go.
Hi, everybody. I'm John. I've been here for a while. I teach a variety of classes. I am a working photographer. Not working so much right now. I was left over the COVID. When we went back and forth, she sends me the forms to fill out. It's like, yeah, this is going to be a few minutes. So I went back into my archives from 2015 when I did this. Here, it's already filled out. I'm a people shooter. Along with everything else, I did sports. I did everything for the Cleveland Monsters. I did dance teams under the Cavs umbrella. I do a lot of that. I teach here some of the portrait stuff, the garage studio ideas, flash photography. A while back, pre-COVID, we did a semester of studio lighting, teaching you how to use the big lights and everything it entails. You tell me what your skill level is and what you want to do. But I will tell you this, for all my introverts, you're going to have to talk to people because you have to get people comfortable to make good images out of them. And when you do this and you understand how, and yeah, for those of you that are terrified of your flash, I will make you very comfortable with it. How to use a flash in broad daylight and how to make your pictures look good and how to pose people so they look good. Because we've all walked up and you get the, take my picture, and it looks like a mugshot. Or you go, hey, let me take your picture, and what do you hear? I don't look good in pictures. Right? So you've got to talk to people and put them at ease. We'll work on some exposure things as well, blending in daylight with flash, so you can make these pictures look seamless. Since it's been a while since I've done this, I'm taking note of, oh, we have time frames now. So we can go how long and do this? Oh, so we can go a while. I'm open some evenings. I'm open all day Sunday. My wife works, so I'm left home unsupervised. I am willing to travel. Where there are people, there are pictures to be made. Whether if you want to bring people you know, right, abuse family members as models, or whatever else, or in a street photography sense, walk up and just go, you got a great looking face. Can I take your picture? And then we'll work with it. I don't care what equipment you have. I am Team Nikon. I know, well, I can't even say this anymore. I just bought a brand new camera. I don't know my instruction manual anymore. I am stumbling through menus trying to figure stuff out. So what I will say is make sure you have a copy of your instruction manual with you on your phone or tablet, and we'll work through it. I don't care. Like, I don't care what system it is, what lens you have. I would strongly endorse a flash, and we'll go from there. If you want to do anything sports-wise, you need long glass, at least a 70 to 200 type thing. If anyone is interested, I have a tablet with me with some other stuff that I've done. If you want to take a look and we can chat and go from there.
Okay, that's great because we haven't had a portrait person in a bit. But what we do have is Lori Palmer from Strongsville.
I'm Lori. This will be my second time mentoring. I like to be outside. So we'll be visiting parks. We'll probably get together maybe 3 or 4 times. And on the off weeks, we'll do something on Facebook. I'll give you some challenges or whatever. Okay, so now, can you hear me now? Okay, I'm looking for beginners. Everybody has something to offer, so in my group I expect everybody to contribute or critique or whatever. And my philosophy is it doesn't matter what other people say about your pictures. If you like it, then that's all you need. We'll be starting as soon as I get the names, and we'll go for, like I said, maybe 3 or 4 sessions with a week off in between, but doing something on Facebook with that. I haven't done any of my pictures yet. Okay, this is Canandaigua Lake. It was very cold that day. We had gone up to check out my daughter's apartment, and I made my husband stop so I could get this picture. This, I believe, was in my yard. Another thing I emphasize is you need to slow down, look around, actually see what's out there, hear, smell, whatever, and realize what's out there in your environment. I got this in Strongsville. This is fall at my friend's cabin. If you look closely, you can see the cabin back there next to the tree. This was out at Hinckley. I like the silhouette there. So I'll be working on, again, slowing down, seeing what's out there, and working with you. Each week we'll focus on something, what we can do to make our pictures more compelling. Oh, and I don't know if I said this or not, but I'm a morning person and during the week.
Okay, next up is Omar. Omar Jeffries lives in Old Brooklyn part of Cleveland. Very interesting architecture photos. Very interesting.
Hello, I'm Omar. I shoot architecture, cityscapes, and abstractions of architecture. I'm a Canon shooter. My availability is Saturday mornings. I like to, around sunrise. Any special equipment? I shoot everything from 14 to 400 millimeters. So any lens you have will work. To get something like this, you probably need a 10-stop ND filter. This is probably like a 400. I'm gonna start around mid-May and go until the end of July. So we'll be shooting a lot. All these were taken in the fall when I was a mentor in the fall. I'll create a Skype group where we can all share images. We can do some editing. Some cool edits. So if you need any help at Lightroom and Photoshop, doing some advanced editing, I can help with that. Set the Garfield, a little abstraction, staircase. That's about it. Yeah.
So crack of dawn Saturday morning, you said, right? Okay, next up, another pair team. Dennis and Rick have been working together for a very long time, and their images are just gorgeous.
Hello.
Okay.
Okay. My name's Rick Mills. I've been working with Dennis Wirt for about over 5 years now. And we've worked out more or less a curriculum that we use to teach composition, which I do, and Dennis does all the technical side of the work. We have a fairly well-structured plan. We're going to start on April 8th, and that'll be on a Saturday. We have 5 outings that we've planned. The first one's at Everett Road Cover Bridge, but we'll have a Teams meeting on every Wednesday. So on Mondays, you'll get one of these data sheets that explains everything we're going to do, what we're going to teach you, what you should review. We have a lot of videos that we send out that explain what we're going to be doing. And then on the first Wednesday, we'll review what we want to do. We'll have assignments for particular pictures that we want you to get to practice depth of field, limited extended depth of field. Dennis will be working on a lot about exposures, and I'll be doing a lot of composition, controlling line, shape, forms, patterns, textures, reflections. And we'll do a lot of in the field work where I'll take you around and I'll show you why moving to the left 10 feet will bring in this item, which is a good element that will work well with the composition. As I say, the outings start on April 8th, and then we have April 15th, a Saturday. Can't see. And then the next Saturday, April 19th, that'll be at Station Road. The second outing is at Viaduct Park, where we'll be shooting. We'll be doing a lot of work with neutral density filters. And then we'll go to Station Road, where we're going to have some of the people from our past mentor groups will be with us. Some of the great shots they got, they're going to kind of work with us on duplicating some of those shots and show you how we did it. Then we'll go to Berea Falls, and the last one is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where we'll be doing blue hour photography and long exposures, and I'll be giving you examples of reflections. I shoot Nikon, Dennis shoots Nikon. I really don't care what camera you have. Bring an iPhone if you want, doesn't matter. As long as you control aperture and shutter, that's all I care, and ISO. As I say, we're going to be meeting Saturday mornings. It's usually at 9 a.m. Goes till noon, then we go out to lunch. The last outing is at 7 o'clock, and that will be at the Rock and Roll, 7 p.m. So that will be the blue hour shot. So, Dennis? That's the first picture.
Hi, everybody. Glad to see so many people here tonight. My name's Dennis Wirt, and I'm sort of going to be your technical guru when we're out shooting. Rick mentioned Wednesday nights before our shoots, we're going to have Teams meeting. Teams is a Microsoft product, and if you're not familiar with it, don't worry about it. We'll be sending out information on how to access it and a video to help you along with that. You'll also get an intro letter from us with some very basic information about what we plan to do. Rick had already mentioned some of the things that we're going to be talking about, mainly focusing, how to get sharp focus consistently in your images, whether you're handheld or shooting on a tripod. We'll talk about exposure and metering, circular polarizers, neutral density filters, and long exposure is associated with them. Back button focus, what it is and how to use it, and do you want to use it, or reasons that we use it. We've become very accustomed to it, enjoy it, and it makes our photography a lot easier. We're talking about focus stacking, introduce you to HDR, high dynamic range photography, how to accomplish it, golden hour and blue hour shooting. And as Rick mentioned, for each of these subjects, you'll be getting videos to get you familiar with it before we actually go out and shoot. There'll also be maps to the sites to help you find your way around. There won't be any tests. We'll critique your images if you desire. Our availability is Saturday mornings from 9 and generally till noon, and a couple of evening shoots. And I'll be available. I'm retired, so if you want some extra one-on-one help, feel free to contact me. Our way isn't the only way to do this kind of shooting. Explore other options. There's plenty of information out there on the internet. And eventually you'll find something that works for you. Let's see what else I have on here. Oh, we don't do weddings, portraits, or astrophotography, so you're going to have to look elsewhere for that help. So thanks for attending, and thanks to those watching at home. And are there any questions? Okay, thanks very much.
Okay, we're almost to the end, I promise. Jackie Perchenki was my first mentor, and now this past year, we've been mentoring together as a team. And she's just going to show off some pictures she just got back from Antarctica.
Yeah, I mean, I mostly started with Bev because she and I share a love for travel, and she actually hit her 50th state not long ago. I mean, how many people have gone to all 50 states? I don't know how. I never did, but my travel is all outside of the states, and so because her and I enjoy doing that, I've learned so much from her in terms of landscapes. And then we ended up finding out we both love doing lots of birds, lots of wildlife. And so a lot of our focus, I think, is going to be on landscape and wildlife this time. And so this was one I took when I was in the UK last year. I did a lot of hiking over there. And everything is just so green. And so this is just an example of one of the photos I've taken. Pelicans, they're out in Ohio, believe it or not. And so she and I have a love for pelicans. Eagles, love the eagles. We got plenty of eagles in Ohio. So it's another bird I really enjoy taking photos of. And that's something we would love to share with somebody in terms of going out there and catching birds, especially it's spring, so the migration is going to be on its way. So there's countless opportunities. Not quite the same bird, but saw lots of penguins. So this is one of my favorite penguins. And another eagle shot. And an Antarctica picture. Lots of snow there. But anyways, so those are just examples of type of photography I take. And I'm a Nikon shooter and have all sorts of lenses for Nikon. And I have both a mirrorless and a DSLR, but we've certainly worked with people with other brands in the past. And I work, so I'm usually only available on weekends, and I think a lot of our assignments are on weekends, but I know Bev is probably available to help people during the week if that's needed. She's always very generous with her time. She's helped so many people because they had a problem with photos not showing up in Lightroom, or I don't know, you've worked a lot of different issues with people.
I might not look like a technical monster, but
She is.
I'm not bad.
You're very good.
I can usually figure it out. Sometimes it takes a while, but I can usually get there.
But I think we've talked about, I don't know how many sessions, but then we'll follow it with a Teams meeting to talk about what we went out to take and even to discuss some of the photos that people took. But we're very easygoing. I mean, we just want to share our joy of going out, doing this type of photography, introducing you to places you maybe didn't know about that's in the Cleveland area or outside the Cleveland area.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we hear the most from the people we've mentored, oh my gosh, I never knew that place existed, and I've lived here my whole life. Well, I've only lived here for 21 years, so I'm sort of still a tourist. And, you know, so we know the cool places. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
I want to mention before we go into my photos that a lot of my photos, in fact, most of them, I'll point out the ones that weren't taken at Sandy Ridge. The 16th, we have a field trip there. So this is kind of a commercial for that, too. Also, Jackie and I do have a private group for our mentees on Facebook. Nobody can find it, Google it, see it, or anything. And that's how we share and critique a lot of photos. Make suggestions maybe on an edit that might salvage something. So if you're going to mentor with us, you at least have to, you can create a private account if you're not already on Facebook for the amount of time that you're with us. Oh, she had it, yeah. Oh, it's backwards from mine. Okay. So that picture was taken at Sandy Ridge, and that is an American bittern. We're kind of basing this mentoring session, since it's now spring migration time, and we're getting into some weather. We might actually want to stick our nose out the door. This is a very difficult bird to find. And I got lucky, basically. I just got lucky. Now, which way? Oh, wrong way. So I thought I would put some collages up, because when you're out taking photographs of birds, you have to know something about birds. You might not have to be able to know much more than a cardinal from a blue jay as far as names. You can Google that later after you get home and can get a good look on your computer. But I find that one of the first things that you can look for when you're out looking to take pictures of birds, look for flying birds and see where they land. There's down at the bottom left-hand corner, that is a pair of sandhill cranes at Sandy Ridge taking off. Like the swan on the right-hand side, they're very, very clumsy and awkward, and they take a lot of energy to get going. They have to get a really big running start. So, again, the one picture in the center was taken out at Ottawa, the glossy ibis up at the top was taken in Florida. Other than that, these were all taken at Sandy Ridge. The next thing you have to figure out is the landscape that the birds are going to live in. And so we are going to work some on that and how to best show those landscapes. But also, what do they eat and where are they likely to show up? The osprey I took last month in Florida, it's a fish that he's eating. He landed next to our car. A bluebird with a bug in his mouth. These are at the top left, those are Wilson snipes, and they just kind of get down, they camouflage really well. If you look hard, you'll see there's 3 of them there. And they just dig in the mud for snails and bugs and whatever else they can find that's edible. I forget the name of that ibis, not something from around here. That was at the aviary in Pittsburgh. But you can see he likes worms, mealworms. And look at the cattails. There's a yellow warbler. A group of tree swallows, the babies are all up on the top of the branch. Mama's flying in to shove food down their throats. Pair of green-winged teals eating in the water. Heron catching his fish. Sandhill crane with a snail. And Sandy Ridge must have like 26 million snails under the mud because they always have them in their mouths. and a heron going for the kill. And of course, nesting. They have to have babies, and they have to find a place. So the bottom picture there, I forget the name of that bird. Some kind of crown pigeon. Yeah, they're really Victoria crown pigeon. And they're gorgeous. She was sitting on a nest in the aviary. The black crown night heron there on the nest was taken in Louisiana. The yellow warbler, or prothonotary warbler, was taken at Sandy Ridge. And the woodpecker, the male, pileated, clearing out his nest hole so to see if his mate would like to have babies in it. She did not. She chose another spot, sadly, because that one you could see from the path. And this I took last month in Florida. It's a tricolored heron, and I thought it was one of the best reflections I had ever had. And that's pretty much it. Did I not put something in there? Nope, I will. I forgot to put one of my pictures in. I had all the babies. All the swan babies diving in for their first one. So I will leave up here, if we could, Richard, that same sheet that you have. This could help people watching on YouTube. And anybody that has questions of any of us, please shout. Yes. Okay, Sandy Ridge is part of the Lorain County Metro Parks. It's about a 300-acre site, but it has a nice-sized parking lot, an overflow parking lot, and it's in North Ridgeville just before you get into Avon. It's very popular. There's 3 major lakes there, and it is a stopover for everything migrating all spring and all fall. Gets a little quieter in the summer, but the cranes stay year-round, the herons stay year-round. Egrets leave, a lot of the birds leave, but there's still quite a bit going on all through the seasons, but it's just a fun place to go. It is a well-groomed, flat path. If you walk the whole thing, it's a little over 3 miles. So just so everybody knows, there's a few benches through, but not lots. Okay?
So just one thing for members in the audience and for those of you watching at home. The stuff that Bev has put together with the pictures of the mentors, frequently asked questions, all the data you need to know, I'm going to post up in the morning on the homepage of our website. That's the www.clevelandphoto.org. And on the homepage, it'll have a link. It'll be about the Mentor program. You click it, and all of these things she's created are going to be up there. So for reference, you'll have that information. Okay, Bev, anything you wanted to add then?
No, just email. Get it in by Monday night.
What was that again?
Oh, email and get it in by Monday night. The address is on that sheet you have. It's up there. menteecps@gmail.com. First come, first gets the mentor.